We live in the era of shame, constant fear that we're going to be made an example of someday. Our culture, if you're a person of the culture, you know this is true. Our culture is masterful in condemnation, but utterly incapable of restoration. We know how to destroy people, to beat people down, but we have forgotten how to restore people. What makes a Christian so countercultural these days? Here's something. We have a foundation for renewing people. The unbelieving culture has all law and no gospel. They have moral standards that change with the direction of the wind, imposed with selective force, but they haven't figured out atonement yet. This is why you see an abundance of people in our culture feeling guilty over their sin, making grand virtue-signaling statements of self-shame, giving vomit-inducing speeches about their privilege and about their complicity and all sorts of societal sins, assuring us of how woke they are, how much they've learned and grown, right before they come and drop the hammer on the same person for doing the same thing they did that they just learned about yesterday. That's our culture. This is the symptom of society that has rigid law, but no scapegoat. The Israelites had a rigid law, but at least they had a scapegoat. The priest would lay his hands upon this animal called the scapegoat. He would symbolically transfer all of the sin of the nation to the people, and they would lead that thing out of the camp, send it off into the wilderness. And that was a picture of what happens to your sin when you've been atoned for. If you don't have a scapegoat in your life, and our culture doesn't, if you don't have a scapegoat, you have no mechanism for the removal of all the guilt and shame that you feel. Christians have a scapegoat better than the Old Testament animal. The ultimate fulfillment is Jesus Christ, who took my sins in his body on the cross, carried them outside the camp in his death, as far away as the east is from the west. And I don't have to punish myself over and over and over and over again. I don't have to live in constant fear that I might say something or something that's going to get pulled up from the past, because I know that Jesus paid it all. I know that I can sing, my sin, oh the bliss of this glorious thought, my sin not in part, but the whole, has been nailed to the cross, and I bear it no more. Praise the Lord, oh my soul, and woo, it is well. It is well. Christian can go to a person in this world, you Christian can go to a person in this world who has been cast aside by society, who has been pushed aside, canceled, whatever you call it, and you can say to them, through the blood of Christ, you can come back from this. You can come back from this through the blood of Christ. That's a powerful evangelistic tool that we have in our tool belt that the world does not have. You can be restored. His grace is sufficient for you. Our culture says you must relive your sin over and over. And if we deem it so, we will cancel you. But Jesus says, if you confess your sin to me, I am faithful and just to forgive your sin and to cleanse you from all your unrighteousness. All of it.